I stood on the sidewalk across from my office building, staring up at the 48th floor. My wife had texted saying she was working late, but what I saw instead was her wrapped in the arms of two other men. The birthday cake in my hands had already gone cold, the buttercream frosting losing its last bit of warmth in the crisp night air. I had planned this as a surprise for Chloe, but it turned out the surprise was on me. At first, I thought I must be seeing things. No, impossible. Chloe, my sweet, devoted Chloe, would never do something like this. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and opened them again. But the fluorescent office lights, shining through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminated the scene with perfect, brutal clarity. My wife, the woman I had loved for 7 years, was being held by two men. One of them had his hand resting possessively on the small of her back. My own hand started to tremble. I forced myself to stay calm. Maybe it was just a friendly hug, maybe a celebration for closing a big deal. Maybe. But then one of the men leaned in and pressed his lips to hers. Thud! The cake box slipped from my grasp and hit the pavement. 1 second. 2. 3. I started to laugh. A bitter, hollow sound. A cliché so old it was almost funny. And here I was living it. I loosened my tie, shrugged off my suit jacket, and draped it over my arm. Then I walked across the street and into the lobby, heading straight for the elevators. 48. I watched the numbers climb, each floor marked by a soft chime. The only other sound was the frantic pounding of my own heart. Ding! The elevator doors opened. I walked directly toward the office, the one bathed in a soft, intimate glow. Through the glass wall, I saw the kiss was still going. Chloe's eyes were closed, a blissful smile. On her face, I had never seen before. The other man held her from behind, his hands roaming freely over her waist. I shoved the door open. It slammed against the wall with a resounding crash. Chloe's eyes flew open. When she saw me, the color drained from her face. Liam, she stammered frantically, pushing the two men away. What are you doing here? I stared at her, my voice like ice. It's your birthday. I wanted to surprise you. My birthday? A surprise? She mumbled the words. Then her hand flew to her mouth and tears welled in her eyes. I turned my attention to the two men. One was Ethan Vance, the firm's senior vice president. The other was Mark Peterson, a director in the marketing department. Ethan was surprisingly composed. He straightened his tie. Taylor, isn't it a little late to be dropping in unannounced? Yeah, you're right. It is, I said, smiling coldly as I looked back at Chloe. Honey, am I interrupting? Should I just go home? No. Liam, please let me explain. Chloe rushed toward me, grabbing my hand. It was just... Just what? I cut her off sharply. They both wanted to kiss you at the same time. I gripped her wrist, pushed her aside, and walked straight toward Ethan. Ethan held up his hands with a smirk. Hey, you saw it yourself, Taylor. Chloe was all for it. If you're going to blame someone. He never finished the sentence. My fist connected with his jaw. The impact sent him staggering back into a desk. I grabbed the collar of his shirt, and my fist fell like rain. Every punch was payback for the years of sacrifice, the endless nights I'd spent working to build a life for us. We had been married for 7 years. 7 years I'd busted my ass to give her everything she wanted. I had climbed from a junior analyst to an executive EP, and she knew better than anyone the blood, sweat, and tears it had cost me. And this was how she repaid me. Liam, stop it! Chloe screamed from the sidelines, too scared to intervene. Mark tried to slip away, but I caught him with a kick that sent him sprawling. Don't go just yet, I sneered, advancing on him. The show's not over. I am sorry, Mr. Taylor. I'm so sorry. Mark scrambled backward on the floor. It was a moment of weakness. I shouldn't have touched your wife. I kicked him hard in the ribs. Shouldn't have touched her? Then where the hell were your hands? Chloe finally ran over and threw herself on my legs. Liam, please stop. It's my fault. It's all my fault. Hit me instead. Just please stop. I looked down at her. This woman had once been my entire world. I would have given up anything for her. Now all I felt was disgust. Get off me. I shook her off, grabbed Mark by the hair, and slammed his head against the wall. Thump. Blood trickled down his forehead. Liam, are you insane? Ethan scrambled to his feet, clutching his face. You're going to kill someone. Kill someone? I laughed. Perfect. I can get rid of both of you scumbags at once. I grabbed a heavy crystal paperweight from a desk and raised it to throw at Ethan. Stop. Building security rushed in, tackling me and pinning my arms. I struggled against them, roaring, "Let me go. I'm going to kill these animals." Ethan wiped a smear of blood from his lip. "Chloe, call the police." "No," she cried, shaking her head frantically. He's just upset." By now, more colleagues had gathered, drawn by the commotion. They gawked at the scene, the trashed office, the two men bleeding. "Someone call 911. Get an ambulance." They pressed me to the floor, and I looked around at every face in the crowd. Their eyes were filled with shock, contempt, and morbid curiosity. Suddenly, a strange calm washed over me. "Let me go," I said, my voice quiet but firm. "I'm done." The guards hesitated, then slowly released me. I got on my feet, brushed off my clothes, and looked directly at Chloe. "Happy birthday, honey. Hope you enjoy your gifts." With that, I turned and walked away. Behind me, I could hear her desperate cries. "Liam, let me explain. Please, just listen to me." I didn't look back. It wasn't until I was out of the building and back on the cold street that I noticed my hands were shaking. They were smeared with blood. I couldn't tell if it was Ethan's or Mark's. I pulled out my phone and sent a text to our corporate counsel. "Draft the divorce papers." A reply came back almost instantly. "Mr. Taylor, it's after midnight now." I typed back, "Do it now." The wind cut through me, chilling me to the bone. I glanced back up at the 48th floor. The lights were still on, figures moving behind the glass. 7 years of marriage, over just like that. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I was in my study with a bottle of whiskey and a pack of cigarettes. The air was thick with smoke. The doorbell rang. I didn't move. It rang for 10 solid minutes before finally stopping. A moment later, I heard a key turning in the lock. "Liam." Chloe stood in the doorway, her voice choked with tears. I ignored her and poured myself another glass. She tiptoed into the room. "Liam, please, just let me explain. It was all a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" I scoffed. "Did you misunderstand your lips being pressed against Ethan's? Did you misunderstand Mark's hands all over your body?" "No." She dropped to her knees in front of me, clutching my legs. They kept pouring me drinks. I had too much. I swear I don't even remember what happened. I shove her away. "How long are you going to keep lying to me?" "I'm not lying." Her makeup was a mess of tear-streaked mascara. "Liam, I'm so sorry. I know I messed up. Hit me. Scream at me. Do whatever you want. Just please don't ignore me." I drank my whiskey in silence. She lunged forward to hug me. "Liam, remember the day we first met? You promised you'd spend your life taking care of me. You said you'd never leave me, no matter what." I shot to my feet, and the glass slipped from my hand, shattering on the hardwood floor. "I did say that," I hissed, staring her down. "But what about you? What about your promises?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the picture I'd taken from the street. The image of her kissing Ethan was perfectly clear. "How long has this been going on?" She trembled. Not long. Just a month." "And Mark? What's the story?" I asked through clenched teeth. She looked down, unable to meet my eyes. A cold laugh escaped my lips. "So, longer than a month, then?" "Liam, I don't know how it happened," she sobbed. "It started as just work stuff. Client dinners. Ethan had been so nice to me. And then Mark started. Enough." I clenched my fist so tightly that the empty glass in my hand shattered. Blood welled up immediately, dripping onto the floor. "Liam, your hand," she cried, rushing to help me. I flung her arm away. "Don't touch me." She froze, staring at me in shock, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Do you even know why I came to your office tonight?" I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. "This was your birthday present." Her hands trembled as she took the box and opened it. Inside lay a diamond necklace. "It's the one you've been wanting," I said flatly. "I worked overtime for 6 months to afford it. I wanted to surprise you. I just didn't realize I'd be the one getting surprised." "Liam," she whispered, covering her mouth, her shoulders shaking with sobs. I snatched the necklace from her hands. "Here, now you can give it to Ethan or Mark." I walked to the window and hurled it into the darkness. "No," she screamed, lunging toward it, but it was too late. The necklace caught the light for a split second before disappearing into the night. She collapsed onto the floor, breaking down completely. I went to our bedroom, yanked her clothes from the closet, and tossed them in a pile at her feet. "Take your things and get out." "Liam, please don't make me leave," she begged, clinging to my legs. "I know I was wrong. I really do. Just give me one more chance. I swear it will never happen again." I ignored her, my chest heavy with pain as I gathered her belongings. Every item carried a memory. The dresses we'd bought together, the limited edition makeup I had waited in line for, the jewelry I'd saved months to buy her. Now it all looked like garbage. "You always said I wasn't exciting enough for you, right?" I tossed one last sweater on the pile. "Well, now's your chance to find someone better." "No, you're the best. You've always been the best to me," she cried, shaking her head violently. "It was me. I was weak. I was so stupid. Liam, please just hit me. Please just hurt me." Looking at her then, an absurd, bitter laugh almost escaped me. For 7 years, I had put this woman on a pedestal. She was my everything, and she had thrown my love away like it was nothing. "Stop the act," I said coldly, walking to the front door and yanking it open. "You want my forgiveness? Keep dreaming." She crawled across the floor toward me. "Liam, please. Just one more chance. Just one. I don't want anything else. I just want you." I pulled out my phone. "Are you sure you wanted to post these photos?" She froze. "Get out," I said, each word sharp and final. "Or I swear by tomorrow, everyone at the company will know exactly what kind of person you are." At last, she staggered to her feet and began gathering her things slowly. "Fine, I'll go," she sobbed, her voice breaking. "But Liam, you have to know, I really do love you. Even when I messed up, I never stopped loving you." I let out a laugh, empty of any warmth. "You love me? Is that what you were showing Ethan and Mark?" She stopped at the doorway, turning back one last time. "Liam, when you've cooled down, I'll come back." "Okay." Slam. The apartment was a wreck. I lit a cigarette and stood by the window, watching the endless stream of headlights on the street below. How many others in this city were out there tonight, nursing a betrayal just like mine? My phone buzzed. A message from the corporate counsel. "Mr. Taylor, the divorce papers are ready." I typed back, "Get a litigator on standby. I want to meet with him tomorrow." As I set the phone down, I realized with surprise how clear my mind was. What was there to mourn? It was over now. All that was left was to make them pay. Ethan, Mark, and Chloe, none of them were getting away with this. They were about to learn exactly what happens when you betray me. I scrolled through my contacts and found a number I hadn't called in years. "Hey, Chris, it's Liam. I need you to do a deep dive on 2 people for me. Ethan Vance and Mark Peterson. I want everything you can find." "It's the middle of the night, man. What's going on?" "Nothing much," I said with a smile. "I just want to treat them to a meal. A meal they'll never forget." After hanging up, I went back to my study and opened my laptop. "Ethan, you wanted my job so badly? Fine. I'll help you get there. But first, I'll show you the price you have to pay. And Mark, you like taking what's mine, huh? I'll make sure you can never take anything from anyone ever again." As for Chloe, just hearing her name sent a jolt of pain through my chest. But that pain was changing, turning into something else, something colder. I was going to make her regret it. Regret everything. I'd make her watch as every person she thought she could rely on disappeared. One by one. She wouldn't just lose a husband who loved her. She would lose the only future she ever had. My phone buzzed again. A text from Chloe. "Liam, can I stay with my mom for a few days? I promise, when you're not so angry, we can talk." I deleted the message without a second thought. "Go on, run to mommy. Just wait. You're about to find out what happens when you cross me." I picked up the whiskey bottle and took a long swallow. The burn in my throat felt like the fire raging inside me. Anger, hate. But I wouldn't let it cloud my judgment. I had to be calm, methodical, because revenge is a dish best served cold. They would taste despair, one slow spoonful at a time. And it all started tomorrow. The sun hadn't even risen, but I was already in my office. On my desk sat a stack of documents, the divorce papers from legal. I hadn't slept, but my mind was razor sharp. Last night had felt like a nightmare. Yet every detail was seared into memory. Ping. A message from Chris. Got what you needed? It's all in a file. I opened the attachment, a slow, predatory smile spreading across my face. Ethan Vance. Barely 6 months as senior VP, and already you've skimmed more than $500,000 from company accounts. And you've been quietly buying up company stock, planning a hostile takeover. And Mark Peterson, you're no slouch either. Affairs with 3 married women. Each one promised you'd leave your wife. One of them nearly jumped off a bridge. Perfect. They'd handed me the ammunition themselves. Suddenly, my office door slammed open. Chloe stumbled in, eyes red and swollen, her hair a tangled mess. Liam, she cried, throwing herself at me and grabbing my arm. Please don't do this. Don't divorce me. I looked at her, expression unreadable. Let go. No, she clung tighter. I won't let go until you forgive me. Then I guess you'll be holding on for a while. I turned back to my monitor, resuming my work as if she wasn't there. She buried her face in my lap, sobbing. Liam, do you remember our wedding? You promised you'd take care of me for the rest of our lives. You said you would never leave me. I kept reading through the financial report, my focus unshaken. Hit me. Please just hit me. Scream at me. Lock me in a room. Anything. Just don't shut me out like this. I finally looked down at her tear-streaked face. That face had once been my entire world. I would have done anything just to see it smile. Now, looking at her only made me sick. Are you done? I pushed the divorce papers toward her. When the performance is over, sign it. No, I won't sign, she shouted, snatching the papers and ripping them to shreds. You're not getting rid of me. I chuckled. You think it's the only copy? I opened a drawer and pulled out another set. This one's a spare, and you should read the terms. I'm being generous. $5,000. More than you deserve. She choked on a sob. I don't want your money. I just want you. And you think I still want you? I sneered. A woman who fools around with 2 men in her office? Why would I possibly want that? She fell to her knees. Liam, I know I was wrong. I was so wrong. I'll do anything you want. I swear. Anything. I stood up abruptly. I pulled her to her feet. Anything? I asked. She nodded desperately. Yes, anything. I leaned in, pressing my lips close to her ear, and whispered, Then why don't you just die? She flinched as if I had struck her, her face going pale. What? Is that too much to ask? I let her go. Fine, then sign the papers. Liam, she whispered, staring at me with wide, disbelieving eyes. You've changed. I have, I said, sitting back down. You always said I was too nice, too boring. Well, congratulations. You finally got what you wanted. She shook her head violently. No, you were perfect. It was me. I'm the one who. Save it. I waved a dismissive hand. It's too late for apologies. Sign the papers and get out of my office. I'm not leaving. Suddenly, she lunged at me, grabbing my head and pressing her lips hard against mine. Liam, feel me. It's still me. It's your Chloe. I shove her away so hard she stumbled and fell to the floor. You disgust me. She hit the ground, but a strange smile curved across her lips. Remember, Liam, the first time we did it in an office? You pushed me away just like that. You said it was too risky, but you couldn't resist then either. I loomed over her, my shadow covering her. Chloe, do you really think you can just turn on the tears and I'll forgive you for everything? She began to rise, preparing to throw herself at me again. It's always worked before, hasn't it? All I had to do was act cute, and you'd give me the world. Crack! My hand flew across her face, the sound echoing through the silent office. She staggered back, clutching her cheek, her eyes wide with shock. You hit me. I did, I said coldly. You've been begging me to. So there you go. Tears streamed down her face again. Liam, you really don't love me anymore. Love. I laughed bitterly. Do you even deserve to say that word? Suddenly she screamed. You can't do this to me. We were together for 7 years. 7 years. You promised you would love me forever. I picked up my desk phone and buzzed security. I need someone to remove a trespasser from my office. Liam, she shrieked, clawing at me like a cornered animal. You can't do this. You can't treat me like this. 2 security guards rushed in and grabbed her by the arms, dragging her toward the door. "Liam Taylor!" she screamed, hysterical. "You'll regret this. I swear to God, you will regret this." I leaned back in my chair, lit a cigarette, and exhaled slowly. "The only thing I regret," I said to the empty room, "is ever meeting you." Finally, silence. I turned to my computer and pulled up the security feeds. Ethan and Mark were already at their desks. Good. I picked up the phone. "Send Mr. Vance and Mr. Peterson to my office." Immediately. Less than 5 minutes later, they were standing before me. The bruise on Ethan's face from last night was a deep, angry purple. His expression was a thundercloud. "Taylor," Ethan growled, "you wanted to see us." I smiled and gestured to the chairs opposite my desk. "Have a seat." They sat down, wary, and I leaned back. "How do you think I should handle this?" Mark immediately dropped to his knees. "Mr. Taylor, I'm so sorry. I know I messed up. Please, just let this go." Ethan only snorted. "What do you want, Taylor? You gonna fire us? Blackball us from the industry?" I shook my head. "That's so boring." I slid a file across the desk. "Ethan, that's the proof of your embezzlement." "Mark, those are recordings of you conning those women. Take a look. Tell me what you think they're worth." The color drained from their faces. You investigated me," Ethan stammered. He shot to his feet and jabbed a finger in my face. "Taylor, don't you push this too far." I grabbed his finger and bent it back until it snapped. A sickening crack echoed in the office. Ethan screamed and collapsed. "My finger. Too far?" I asked coldly, standing over him. "Was it too far when you were screwing my wife?" Mark shook uncontrollably. "Mr. Taylor, what do you want?" "I'll do anything. Just don't make this public." I returned to my chair, calm as ever. "It's simple. First, you both resign effective immediately. Second, you transfer all of your company stock and options to me, every last share. And third," I paused, savoring the terror in their eyes, "you disappear. If I ever see or hear from either of you again, this all goes online." Ethan gritted his teeth, cradling his broken hand. "You're a bastard, Taylor. You think I'll go down alone? I'll take you with me." I laughed. "You mean with this?" I produced another file. "You think I'd give you that chance?" These are the complete audited records for every project I've ever managed. Every dollar is accounted for. The money you stole, routed through accounts that trace directly back to you. When this gets out, who do you think the board will believe? Ethan's face went ghost white. You planned this?" "No," I smiled. "I was just protecting myself. Turns out it's also the perfect way to get rid of you." I stood, straightening my jacket. "Think it over. Let me know your decision. But if you want to play games, I'm more than ready." I walked to the door, then paused. "Oh, and don't bother asking Chloe for help. She's got her own problems now." The moment I closed the door, I heard something heavy crash against the wall. Perfect. This was only the beginning. I texted Chris. "Is it ready?" "All set," he replied. Tomorrow's headlines were going to be fun. Vance and Peterson were finished. I smiled. Step 1, complete. The next morning, the internet was on fire. Shock. Senior execs at tech giant busted in embezzlement scheme. Workplace predator. Director lures married women into affairs. Insider trading. Execs secretly acquired stock for takeover plot. Photos of Ethan and Mark were everywhere. The company convened an emergency board meeting and fired them on the spot. I watched from my office window as they were escorted out of the building with cardboard boxes. As Ethan passed my door, he shot me a look of pure hatred. I just gave him a little wave. "Take care, Ethan." Mark was too ashamed to even lift his head as he hurried away. "And now, Chloe, it's your turn." I pulled up the security footage from that night. The video was crystal clear. I edited out the audio, leaving only the damning visuals. Then I uploaded it to the company-wide Slack channel. The title was simple, a special project between a certain female employee and 2 senior executives. Within 30 minutes, the entire office was buzzing. "Oh my God, is that Chloe Davis?" So that's how she got the executive assistant job. Disgusting. If I were her husband, I'd kill her. It didn't take long before Chloe stormed into my office. "You did this, didn't you?" she screamed. "Why would you do this to me?" I looked at her, feeling nothing. "You did this to yourself. You." She pointed a trembling finger at me. "Do you have any idea what they're saying about me out there?" They're calling me a homewrecker? Isn't that what you are? I asked calmly. Slap. Her hand cracked across my face. I touched my cheek, chuckling. Nice one. I pressed the intercom. Security, please come remove an employee who just assaulted me. And while you're at it, process her termination papers. You can't fire me, she shrieked. I'll sue you for slander, for defamation. I held up a document. Remember this? Your employment contract. The privacy clause states that all activity recorded on company property is owned by the company. I was just sharing a corporate asset. She collapsed to her knees. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Because I knelt down and whispered in her ear, this is just the beginning. I told you I'd make you regret it. Security arrived, hauling her out as she kicked and screamed. Liam Taylor, you'll burn in hell for this. You'll get what's coming to you. I sat back down and called the legal department. I want to file a lawsuit against Ethan Vance and Mark Peterson for sexual harassment in the workplace. After hanging up, I texted Chris again. You ready for phase 2? Ready when you are, he replied. Tomorrow's headlines are already written. I smiled. Step 2, complete. The next day's news was even more explosive. Tech firm scandal deepens. Execs filmed an office threesome. Exclusive video. Married female employees' affairs with superiors exposed. Toxic workplace. How corporate predators get away with it. An edited version of the video went viral. Chloe's face was plastered everywhere. She became the internet's villain of the day. She sent me a text. Liam, why are you trying to destroy me? I'm being harassed online. People follow me on the street, shouting things at me. I deleted it without replying. This wasn't enough. I wanted her to feel true, absolute despair. I opened my laptop and began composing an email. The recipients were. It was 3 a.m. when Chris called again. Chloe's in the hospital. Overdose. Pills. I had scoffed. Not my problem. She left a note. Liam. Said you drove her there. I paused. I'm on my way. Not to save her. No, only to watch. The fluorescent corridor reeked of antiseptic. The red emergency light above the ward blinked like a heartbeat. The doctor emerged at last. She's stable, but she'll need monitoring. Thank you, I replied smoothly. Inside the room, Chloe lay pale and fragile, her lips cracked, her eyes sunken. I shook my head. Nice act. Her lashes fluttered, and when she saw me, her tears spilled. You came. Had to see the drama for myself. It's not drama. Her voice trembled. I don't want to live anymore. Then try harder next time. I pulled out my phone and showed her the trending feed. Rising star journalist caught in scandal attempts overdose. And just below, another cry for attention from the mistress of media. Her body shook as she read. How could you? I told you, I said coldly. This is just the beginning. What more do you want? She pleaded. I'm already destroyed. What else can you take? I want you to feel the ruin I felt when you betrayed me. Then kill me, she screamed. Please, Liam, just end it. I pulled away. Death is too merciful. Then what? What do you want me to do? I'll apologize. I'll crawl. I'll do anything. Just make it stop. Too late. I smirked, standing. Her voice cracked. Wait, I'm pregnant. I froze. Oh, with your editor's child? Or the director's? It's yours, she whispered. I leaned closer, whispering like a knife to her throat. Are you sure you want to spin that lie? Should I release your clinic records from the abortion? Her face went white. How did you know? I know everything, I sneered. 3 months ago. That one was his, wasn't it? Her body went limp. You even found that. Oh, I found more than that. I pulled up screenshots, hotel bookings, call logs. Your editor, the director, the others. You're a masterpiece of betrayal. She sobbed, trembling. No, it wasn't like that. Then tell it to the world. I tossed my phone on her bed. They'll be thrilled. Please, no more. I can't take it. I yanked my arm free. We're only warming up. A week later, she left the hospital. That very afternoon, the recordings went live. Chloe's voice, desperate, pleading, echoed across the internet. Fabricated calls where she whispered promises. Forged messages demanding promotions. The world devoured her. She's poison. So it was never just 2. She'll sell herself for power. By nightfall, she was ashes. She sent me one final text. Liam, Those recordings are fake. Why are you doing this? I replied, fake? Should I release the video next? Silence. She didn't answer again. By morning, Chris called. Her younger brother's been dragged into it. His college friends have the clips. He's being mocked, harassed. Good, I said. You're really not letting go, are you? Not until the curtain falls. I had the audios burned onto CDs and mailed anonymously to her brother's campus bulletin board. For the final flourish, I sent him a bouquet of black roses. The card read, "To the best sister a man could ask for." The damage was instant. His reputation ruined. Her family tainted. And that was the moment Chloe snapped. She stormed back to the city, eyes wild, voice broken, screaming outside my office tower like a specter in the night. Liam Taylor, get down here, you coward! Monster, why are you doing this to me? Her screams echoed through the night as security dragged her away from the front of my building. She kept thrashing, her voice breaking into shrieks. You'll get what you deserve. You'll rot in hell for this. From my office window high above, I watched it all with a small, humorless smile. You thought this was all a game, didn't you? I whispered to myself. Now you know pain. Now you know regret. But it's too late. Later that night, I sat in my study, the glow of my laptop screen painting my face in pale light. The news ticker at the bottom of the screen was a symphony of destruction. Ethan Vance had been beaten so badly in prison that he now walked with a permanent limp. Mark Peterson, who had fled the country, had been caught by local authorities and was already being extradited. I took a slow sip of whiskey. Everything was unfolding exactly as I planned. Ethan was broken. Mark was heading to federal prison. Chloe had become a social pariah, her family's reputation ruined beyond repair. My revenge was almost complete. Almost. It wasn't enough just to watch them lose everything. I wanted them to live with their agony. Forever. The sudden chime of my doorbell pulled me from my thoughts. I opened the door and froze. Chloe stood there, skeletal, her eyes hollowed deep into their sockets. Her hair a tangled, lifeless mess. You've got some nerve showing up here, I said flatly. She kept her head bowed. I came to ask you for one last thing. What? Her voice cracked. Leave my parents alone. She dropped to her knees, her frail body trembling. They've done nothing wrong. Please just leave them out of this. I crouched down to her level, eyes locked on hers. And why would I do that? Please. She reached out and grabbed the cuff of my pants. I'll do anything you want. Whatever you ask. Just spare them. I kicked her hand away. Get out. Tears streaked her face. I know I was wrong. She crawled closer, clinging to my leg. I know what I did. If you want my life, you can have it. Just please spare them. I dragged her across the floor and out onto the balcony. The city lights glimmered beneath us, 48 stories below. You want to die? I hissed. Fine. Jump. She froze, trembling violently. Her eyes widened in horror. You're serious? Of course. I pointed toward the street far below. You jump, and I'll leave your parents alone. For a moment, something shifted in her expression. A strange, broken smile crossed her face. Okay, I'll jump. But Liam Taylor, remember this. I will haunt you for the rest of your life. She moved toward the railing, her fingers curling around the cold steel, preparing to climb over. I yanked her back, pulling her away from the edge. You think I'd let you die that easily? She thrashed in my grip. Let me go. You told me to die. I dragged her back inside, my voice cut like glass. Death is too easy for you. I want you to live with this. Do you understand? Her body went limp. She stared at me with hollow, empty eyes. Liam, you've become a demon. I have, I said with a smile. And I have you to thank for it. She slid down the wall, her tears finally breaking free. I regret it so much. If I could go back, I'd never have betrayed you. It's too late, I said coldly. You'll never understand how much I loved you, she whispered. And you'll never understand how much I hate myself now. Suddenly, she lunged forward, throwing her arms around me, sobbing. Give me another chance. Please, I know I was wrong. We can start over. I shove her away. You're not worthy. I am, she cried frantically. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Please, just forgive me. I looked at her, this desperate, broken shell of a woman I had once loved more than life itself. Now, her pleading face almost amused me. I had loved her once. Now I only wanted to watch her suffer. Go, I said, pointing to the door. Before I changed my mind, she rose slowly, weakly, and walked toward the door. But just before leaving, she turned back, her voice soft. You know, I did love you. I always loved you, even when I was betraying you. I scoffed. Your love is cheap. She shook her head. No, I was just greedy. I thought I could have more, and I forgot what was most precious. With that, she turned and disappeared into the night. I closed the door behind her, leaned against it, and lit a cigarette. Smoke curled in the dim light. That woman, still acting to the very end, I muttered. Too bad for her. I pulled out my phone, typed one final message, and hit send. Tomorrow, release everything. It was time to end this.